Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Annie would like to introduce you to Chris Dave. I'm experimenting with a slightly different way of making the videos. Tell me what you think. Instead of taking screenshots, I'm recording the screen and scrolling through the messages. Hello, said our man. How are you doing? I'm Chris from Germany. And you, it's my pleasure to meet you here. What's your name? And then adding for good measure, L-I-E. What? Said Annie. Are you talking to someone else? No, he said, I'm not. Why did you say that? My name isn't L-I-E. Who's she? Oh, I was just expressing my gratitude. That's how it's done in my country. I'm so sorry. So, what is your nationality? I see your name already. Sorry I asked before. I live in England, she said. Wow! My dream country. Are you from England? Are you single or married, if I may ask? I just told you I live in England, said Annie. I'm divorced. Where are you in Germany? I'm from Hanover in Germany. I'm married, ? But I lost my wife and kid a few years ago in Germany. At the moment, I'm a widower. Why are you asking me if you're married if you don't know you're a widower? I didn't ask you that, he said. 3 exclamation marks. What is your occupation? And how old are you? I'm a marine engineer. I work with oil and gas shipping company. Italian! Exclamation mark. I'm 42 years of age now. Yes, you did ask, said Annie, showing him the bit where he'd said, I'm married, ? That's what you said. You asked me if you're married. I'm 55 and I work on the checkouts of our local supermarket. What do you do as a marine engineer? I work as a mechanic engineer in the ship. And then, because Annie hadn't said anything about him losing his wife, added, What about I lost my wife and kid? You're quite older than me, he said. Annie continued to ignore the bit about him losing his wife and kid. You're a mechanical engineer now, not a marine engineer. You asked me what do you do as a marine engineer? I told you. Do you have kids? You're a marine engineer that works as a mechanical engineer. I have grown-up twins. Work as a mechanic, he said. Like a car mechanic. No, any mechanical damage in the ship. Oh, okay. Do you have to travel with the ships, or do you work in a port somewhere? Yes, he said, in reply to her asking, do you have to travel with the ships? Where are you now? She asked. In my room in the ship, he said. It's a gas and oil ship. It exports gas and oil to different countries. I meant, where is your ship? Italy! I wrote that earlier. No, you didn't, said Annie. You told me you work for an Italian company. You didn't tell me where your ship is. I assumed you were on board a ship, delivering to different countries. And if you've noticed that the chat magically changed colour there, it's because our man is still online. He's just changed the colour of the chat. How annoying. Okay, he said, with 3 exclamation marks. Can I ask you some questions, if you don't mind? If I can give you obscure answers like you do and never give a proper answer, said Annie. Do you really love pet? What kind of pet do you have? I don't really fancy animal that much, but I love dogs and cats. Who said I have a pet? Asked Annie. I ask you, do you really love pet? Well, I see you don't. What are your hobbies? I'm divorced, she said. My ex-hubby's pets are nothing to do with you. I love riding horses, mountains, climbing, baking and reading, ? I mean, something like this, you misunderstand me a lot. What's your favourite colour? And food? You don't want to talk to me. Not if you're going to ask me silly childish questions. I have better things to do. I'm going to bed. Good night. Okay, he said. I'm sorry for that. Okay, have good night. It's my pleasure to meet you. Thank you for your time. Talk to you tomorrow. Good morning, he said the next morning. How are you doing? Happy Sunday. For those of you that like to keep track of how long these scams last, this scam started on Saturday the 14th of May. I'm making this video on Sunday the 22nd of May. Good morning, said Annie. I didn't ask where you are in Italy. I've never been to Italy. Sicily, he said. Italy is great, but I don't have the opportunity to enjoy that. You will like Italy. Trust me. Is your ship going to somewhere else soon? Yes, we're heading to Australia, he said. We need to export oil to them. That is the contract I sign. The ship is very slow due to the load it's carrying. That sounds amazing, said Annie. Have you been to Australia? I've always wanted to go. Yes, I have, he said. England is my dream country. Some day I'll pay you a trip to Italy or Australia. Oh, my word, said Annie. What a kind thing to offer. You should come visit me here in our little corner of England. Are you rich? Did I tell you where I live? I'm in a small town called Shaftesbury. In reply to Are you rich? That man said, Very. Some day. Oh, why do you call it a corner? Oh, said Annie, I do love a rich man. Do you have a yacht or a private jet? I heard about that place, he said, in reply to her telling him that she lived in Shaftesbury. LOL, he said, to her asking if he'd got a yacht or a private jet. You've heard of Shaftesbury? How lovely. What have you heard? I hope it was good. A cool place to be, he said. I wanted a private jet, but I stopped that idea because I didn't have any family to take it after me. Do you have a pilot's licence? She asked. I don't want a jet. How long will it take you to get to Australia? I just need a simple life, as others, he said. 3 months. And then added, Are you stable? You live comfortably, without owning any bills, right? And then when she didn't answer, You didn't reply. Why? Excuse me, said Annie. How is my financial situation any of your business? And the reason I didn't reply is because I wasn't online. I do have other things to do. Okay, but you saw my messages, he said. I'm so sorry. I just want to see if I can help you. That's very kind of you, she said. How are you doing today, he said, on the Tuesday, having not been online on Monday. How was your daily work going? Hi, I was working late today, she said later. Okay, I understand. Can we talk? What do you want to talk about? She asked. Let's get to know each other better. How long have you been working for your company? She asked. I don't have a particular company, he said. I work with different companies. Oh, said Annie, I thought you were on a ship. Yes, 2 exclamation marks. But this is not my permanent ship. 3 exclamation marks. What is your permanent ship? 3 exclamation marks, asked Annie. I only got a contract on it, he said. 1 exclamation mark. Yeah, so how long have you been working for the company that owns the ship and has given you the contract? She asked. Okay, 3 exclamation marks. 3 months now, 3 exclamation marks. I got 6 months contract, 3 more exclamation marks. Why so many exclamation marks? 3 question marks, asked Annie, sending him lots of exclamation marks. LOL, he said. That's how I write. I'm sorry. I'm guessing you'll finish when you get to Australia. 6 exclamation marks. Will you apply for another contract once you get there? 5 exclamation marks. Yes, indeed. You're very smart, he said. Yes, but I need to rest for a long time, like 2 months. Why do you need to rest for a long time? Asked Annie. 2 months? I wish I could get 2 months off work every 6 months. Because I had a long stress, he said. A long stress? What happened? Asked Annie. I work 24/7, he said. We've heard that one before, haven't we, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, don't you go to bed and sleep? Sometimes extra time is added, he said. My goodness, he does live in a time warp. How can you add extra time to 24/7? Asked Annie. Well, have time limit, he said. Normally, we work from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. So sometimes I work from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's what I mean. How's that even remotely close to 24/7? Said Annie. Do you know what 24/7 means? Yes, I do, he said. Okay, said Annie. So do you want to try again and tell me what hours you really work? I work 24/7 or, well, I have time limit. Normally we work from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. So sometimes I work from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's what I mean. That's the time, he said. So you were lying when you said I work 24/7, or trying and failing to sound impressive? LOL, he said. I'm not trying to impress you. Let's just forget about that. I don't want further argument, please. As the scammers always say when they've suddenly realised they have no idea what they're talking about. July the 15th, 1970? Is that really your birthday? Of course it is, said Annie. And no, I'm not going to just conveniently forget that you lied. So what are you actually saying is that some days you work 6 hours and some days you work 11 hours. Was that the long stress you had? Yes, he said. It's really hard handling a ship broken parts. You don't know how heavy they are. I didn't lie to you. Maybe you don't understand. I work 24/7. What didn't I understand? Light started to dawn in our scammer's head. That mean I work 24 hours 7 days, right? Yes, said Annie. You know the time of an engineer is quite different, so it's not what you think. Yes, like I said, he really does work in a time warp. What didn't I understand when you said I work 24/7? The 24 hours equals 6 a.m. to 12 in our time, in the ship. That's very different. We have breakfast before working. Oh, good. Are you totally incapable of basic mathematics? Said Annie. You do know the difference between 24 and 12 minus 6 equals 6. I know, he said. That is why I say you don't understand. It's very rare for you to understand that. 3 exclamation marks. OK, so you know the difference between 24 hours and 6 hours, said Annie. Everyone knows, he said. Why do you persist in pretending you work 24 hours when even your minuscule brain knows you only work 6 hours? If you're going to carry on being brain-dead, idiotic moron, I really don't want to continue talking to you. So goodbye. OK, he said. So why don't we change topic? Because you're incapable of answering one simple question, said Annie. If we change the topic, you'll just tell me more lies. So goodbye. Give another, he said. Oh, go away, said Annie. Goodbye. Why lies? He said. I have no idea why you're lying, said Annie. I guess you thought you'd sound really macho and impressive. Why would I lie to you? I don't even know you yet, he said. I have no idea why you're lying, said Annie. You'd have to tell me. Thought it sounded impressive? Macho? Clever? So you have one chance to tell me why you lied. One chance, or go away. OK, he said. Well, let's just say I lied. We know that, said Annie. I asked you why you lied. I just feel interested in you, he said. Just want to make you happy. You're interested in me. That's why you lied? She asked. That's the most idiotic thing I've heard in a long, long time. Goodbye. I didn't just want to make you feel impressed, he said. You failed, said Annie. But you promised to talk to me, he replied. Why on earth would I want to continue talking to an idiot who thinks lying is impressive? How old are you? 14? I thought I was talking to a mature man, not an idiotic teenager. I'm so sorry, he said. How old are you really? She asked. To which our man replied, 42. I really work long, like I work every day, from Sundays to Sunday. Remember that? Well, act like a 42-year-old, not a 12-year-old, said Annie. Sure, I promise, said our 12-year-old. Where's your ship going to in Australia? Asked Annie. But I don't want you to lose interest in me. She doesn't have any mate, I can promise you that. Can you promise me that? He asked. No, I can't promise that, said Annie, especially if you continue acting like an immature kid and lying to me. Promise not to, he said. We're heading to the Great Barrier Reef. I will stay there for a few months, then come back to Germany for another contract. Don't you have to dock somewhere to offload your cargo? Asked Annie. That's not my job, he said. I did mine already. So you're going to leave the ship before it docks? Yes, he said. OK, asked Annie. Why? What time is it now in England? Cried our man. It's 11:15, said Annie. Why? Because I didn't sign that, he said. What does that mean? Asked Annie. So you have to get off the ship and swim to shore instead of staying on board until it docks. Wait for it, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he said. I don't have to swim. I have friends in Australia who are also marine engineers. They're waiting for my arrival. How will you get from the ship to the shore? Immediately we get to Australia, my contract has ended. Whatever I like is what I do. The help of my friends. I told you. The ship have too many rules I don't like. What does the help of my friends mean? Asked Annie. Sounds as if they're going to get you out of jail. All I asked is how are you going to get from the ship to the shore? Submarine, swim, ship, speedboat, rowing boat, motorboat, helicopter, gyrocopter, sailing boat, surfboard, super yacht. A ship, he said. Sounds exciting, said Annie. How do you transfer from one ship to another while you're at sea? Well, I told my boss already that I won't get to shore with them. And then, in reply to how do you transfer from one ship to another while you're at sea, wait for it, ladies and gentlemen. Quite simple, he said. How do you do it? Asked Annie. The ship runs very, very slow, so I will just wait for the ship of my marine friends to get close and hop in. Don't you watch American videos? I think he's been watching too many action movies. You can just hop from a giant oil tanker onto a passing ship, said Annie. Who knew? What do you mean, don't I watch American videos? Well, the ship is not too big as you think, he said. It has an opening in the front view. Oh, good, said Annie. Why were you asking about American videos? Yeah, Americans are quite good in movies, right? Or you dislike them? I never watch them, said Annie. What does it have to do with getting from one ship to another? I just felt like sharing something like this with you, he said. Absolutely nothing. I answered what you asked. You thought you'd just ask a random question. Did you get your car serviced? She said. OK, my turn, he said, completely missing the point. You already asked a random question, said Annie. Not quite enough, he said. What does that mean? Asked Annie. It gets so tedious when you type meaningless rubbish. At what age did you get married? He asked. None of your business, said Annie. At what age did you get married? But I asked first, he said. I got married at the age of 34. OK, said Annie. I told you. It's none of your business. OK, he said. How long have you been working on the local market? I think it's about 10 years, she said. And how old are your twin now? The twins are 30. Are they married, he asked. What are their names? Susie and David, she said. They both live with their partners, but they aren't married. Oh, that sounds like a good idea, he said. Is that a question, she asked, because he'd put 2 question marks after it. What are their jobs, he asked. None of your business, said Annie. Why are you so interested in my children? Indeed, he said. I don't have any interest. They are part of you, so I need to know. OK, said Annie. What made you divorce your husband, he asked. He went off with another woman, said Annie. Don't you find all these random exclamation marks and question marks very tedious? Because he'd carried on, adding them randomly. Very bad of him, I swear. 2 exclamation marks, he said. I just like it that way. 2 exclamation marks, he said, on typing. I guess you don't find them tedious, said Annie, adding 5 exclamation marks. It isn't clever, 5 exclamation marks, or impressive, dozens of question marks. It just looks really silly, lots of exclamation marks. You're not used to it, 2 exclamation marks. No, said Annie, with lots of exclamation marks. By the time you might like it, he said. If you're too dim to realise I don't like it, then you need a brain transplant, said Annie. It's childish and silly. OK, do you want me to stop writing like that? And we already agreed that you'd act like a mature man, not a teenager. OK, I'll stop writing that way, he said. I'll try. I've had enough of you for one night, said Annie. I'm going to bed. Good night. I feel so good writing to you, he said. Good night. Don't think about me very much. OK? I won't, said Annie. Good night. I'll miss you still morning, he said. Good morning, he said the next day. How are you doing? "Oh," said Annie that evening, "it's you again." "Oh, that sounds weird," he said, "but I'll manage. Remember, tonight I do the questioning." "OK," said Annie, "if I can give meaningless, stupid answers like you do." "What is the least favourite thing you like about your country?" he asked. "On your birthday I will pay you a trip to Italy." "Radical radishes," said Annie. "I hate them. I've always wanted to go to Athens. How lovely." "Sure, whatever you like on your birthday I'll give you," he said. "You didn't care to ask me about my birthday." "It's rare to find a good salad bar," said Annie. "That's why I hate radical radishes so much." "So beautiful. Can you do me a favour by sending me one of your photos, please?" "You could do me a favour and use your mouse and eyes to look at the one on here," said Annie. "You got only one photo on your profile," he said. "I'm really out of words to ask you. Can you ask me? What are things you need to know about me? I'm willing to answer." "That'll be a first," said Annie. "Let's try. Has your ship left Sicily?" "Good evening," he said, and we'd changed magically from Wednesday to Thursday there. "Yes," he said, "but we're still in Italy." "Why are you asking me?" she said, because he'd put a question mark after "yes, but we're still in Italy." "I don't know where your ship is. That's why I asked you. If you look on Google Maps on your phone, it should tell you where you are." "I didn't ask you that," he said. "You asked me if my ship have left Sicily. I told you yes. How was your day going? And how your work too?" "You asked me if you're still in Italy," she said, showing him the bit where he said yes, but we're still in Italy, question mark. "I said, we're still in Italy," he replied. "So, what's up with you? How was your precious day?" "Do you know what that punctuation mark at the end means? The question mark?" asked Annie. "Oh, well, I didn't realise that," he said. "So tell me, what are the things you hate and like? Do you wearing glasses, wristwatch, gold, etc.? What's your position in our local market?" "I've never been to your local market," said Annie. "OK. How was your day?" he asked. "What your rules in life?" It was the middle of the night by then. "How often do you drink?" "Good morning." "Good morning," said Annie. "What on earth are you talking about? I don't even know you. What are your rules in life? And why do you think I have a position in your local market? Who are you?" "I wanted to say, what is your position in your local market? It was a mistake. No one is above that." "We don't have a local market, only on Saturday mornings," she said. "OK. Do you mind telling me about your childhood?" "Why do you want to know about my childhood?" asked Annie. "It's very useful to me," he said. "I really want to know everything about you." "Useful?" said Annie. "Why, what will you do with the information?" "I will keep it very safe," he said, "and make it part of my life. You're part of my life now. I know you to be my family. Are you going to tell me or not? Do you realise that you have a place in my heart?" "What do you want to know about my childhood?" asked Annie. "I lived with my parents and went to school." "Like things you did, sport you like when at your childhood?" he asked. And then, because he had one of those extended copy and paste paragraphs that he needed to copy and paste, he copied and pasted it. And here we go. "Well, I was born in the year 1980, in the city called Hanover, Germany. I was the one child of my parents." For some reason, that reminds me of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. You know the one. Hamelin Town's in Brunswick, near famous Hanover City. Sorry. "My father's name is Dave." Good German name there. "While my mum is Elizabeth. My dad was a mechanical engineer who based on broken vehicle, while my mum a shopkeeper in a magazine. My parents were both poor. We hardly had feed, and things seemed tough to us. My uncle was a marine engineer, was very successful. He assisted us in his own way. Well, that's good. My favourite sport during childhood was a volleyball game. I wasn't too good at it, so I left it aside and joined the football team. I realised that I'm good in the football game than volleyball. My father got sick and will rush to the hospital. Well, he confirmed that he couldn't live longer due to he has a heart failure. That weakened my mum, and a few years after, he passed away. My mum couldn't rise me alone, so my uncle decided to help and carried me to Italy. He promised to teach his occupation and make me become one. I'm glad that's how I became a marine engineer. I started working at the age of 33, and now I'm successful. I really appreciate God and my family for making me who I am today. That's my story. That's my story, he added again. You started working at 33? Asked Annie. Were you a slow learner or just too lazy to get a job? I wasn't too lazy or a slow learner, he said. Then what did you do from the age of 18 to 33? She asked. I was barman, he said. You haven't shared yours. So it's okay if you don't want to talk about it. Hey, what's up? I work on the checkouts of our local supermarket, said Annie. Again, are you saying you retrained as a marine engineer at the age of 33? Did you go to university to study? Yes, Dee said. But my uncle was already a marine engineer, so it was quite simple for me then. OK, he could tell you the best place to study. Which university did you go to? Well, I attended Hanover High School. At the age of 33? Asked Annie. No, my uncle taught me how to work as marine engineer. You said you went to university to study. Yes, just read and write. I didn't attend a vocational school. So which university did you go to? She asked. Hanover High School, he said. It's in my hometown. Don't you know the difference between a high school and a university? And didn't he say that by then his uncle had taken him to Italy? I do, he said. Didn't attend a university. OK, said Annie. What about you? He asked. I already told you. You did, he said. You're in the church now, because by now it was Sunday morning. Or you didn't go to church today? No, said Annie, I don't go to church. Do you really think I'd be texting you if I was in church? I assume you aren't in church either. I'm not, he said. How can I be? Do church now exist on sea? How would I know what facilities you have on your ship? Asked Annie. I don't work today. I have to rest for today. Remember, he said before he works Sunday to Sunday. Where's your ship right now? Asked Annie. And pay attention to this. We have another of the geographically challenged, and I'll put a map in for you in a minute. We're in La Maddalena, about going to the next city, he said. In 3 days, we pass over to the next city. Pass over? Said Annie. I thought you were on a ship, not an aeroplane, and I thought you were heading for Australia. Why are you stopping at all the cities? We're not stopping, he said. So you aren't in any cities, are you? You're at sea. Where are you at sea? La Maddalena Island, he said. OK, said Annie. What did you have for breakfast? He asked. Stewed cheesy bobs with earthy sauce. You can look up cheesy bobs if you don't know what they are. What did you have? Asked Annie. The chef is still in the kitchen, but I guess we're going to have fried chicken and rice, he said. There's no need to use profane language, said Annie. Which route will your ship be taking from Sicily to Australia? I can assure you it's the scenic route, and they've barely got started. I'll show you a map in a minute, because he's going to mention another place first. I don't know, he said. I'm not in control of that. Don't be ridiculous, said Annie. I'm sure the route was set long before you left Sicily, and I'm sure you would all have been told. Well, I guess we take San Marino, he said. Meaning? Asked Annie. It's a country, he said. Yes, I know, said Annie. I can see why it's going to take you 6 months to get to Australia. Actually, I think he said 3, but I think he said it was a 6-month contract. You might need to find a captain who knows where he's going. It's not the captain's fault the ship is very slow. It carrying a load, contain millions of euros, he said. It very risk. Any mistake can cause a huge damage, and that worth million to correct. It would probably help if your captain sailed south instead of north, though. It would be quicker. Really? He said. How'd you know that? Oh, just a random guess, said Annie. Absolutely. But we're sailing north already. Perhaps he's planning to take the polar route, like the planes do, said Annie. And now I'm going to show you a map of where they actually are. claims to have started in Sicily. I've put an ellipse round that in the centre of the bottom of that map. He claims he's now at La Maddalena Island, which is in the centre, slightly to the left of that map. And then he said he's going to San Marino, which by the look of it means sailing back around Sicily and up into the Adriatic Sea. And if you look, I've added Australia is 14,000 kilometres due south of where they are. I think it might take him slightly more than 6 months to get to Australia. Back to the action, and Annie's just suggested perhaps he's planning to take the polar route like the planes do. I do know what his plan, but all I know is that I work. After that, get paid and leave the ship. On my vacation time? Would you like me to come over to England? You don't want to see me? After you get to Australia, or can you take vacation before then? Asked Annie. Yes, I can, he said. In 2 weeks from now. Oh, that would be lovely, said Annie. I'm sure you'll love Shaftesbury. Absolutely, Will you let me stay in your house? Of course, said Annie. You're welcome to come and visit. Where will you fly from? Or will you come on another boat, so I know where to come and meet you? I'll make a ticket. I will the plane, he said. I can't, he said in reply to her asking would he come on another boat. I'll come for you, he said. What does that mean? Asked Annie. I thought you were going to come to Shaftesbury. I need to know where you'll be arriving so I can come meet you at the airport or the dock. OK, he said. At the airport. I'll be coming by plane. Which airport? She asked. Where will you fly from? San Marino, he said. There isn't an airport in San Marino as far as I can tell. OK, do you know what time the flight arrives? She asked. I don't know yet, he said, but I'll make sure I arrive in time. OK, let me know when you've booked the flight, she asked, because I can take the day off work and can meet you. In 2 weeks, he said, but I'll book the flight ahead for time, maybe 5 days before my vacation. OK, said Annie. OK, he said, what if things turns out bad for me? Will you help me? Why would things turn out bad for you? She asked. Is the because the money I have left, it really not enough for me. Still then, I'll need to make other expenses. But I pray have enough then to book the flight. OK, I'm sure I can lend you some, said Annie, feeling very benevolent. OK, thanks for that, said our man, rubbing his hands in glee. But I won't depend on it. I guess you'll get paid at the beginning of the month, said Annie, so you can pay me back. Sure, he said. I'm really grateful, but I hope you really understand that sailors are not paid monthly. That's why I find it difficult to get there without your help. How odd, said Annie. Do you get paid weekly instead? I get paid on the 1st of every month. And remember, our man's already told her he's very rich. Not even weekly, he said. You only carry your money along with you. The ship only pay you after you finish your contract. How long will you come for? She asked. 1 month, he said. OK, you can take a whole month off from a 6-month contract. It's enough time to spend with you. It was written. OK, she said. OK, see you then, my love. How exciting, said Annie. So, he asked, how romantic are we going to be? Like, you know, being in love with you, feel good? I have no idea till I've met you, said Annie. Surely, he said. So, how much money can you lend me if it happens that I'm supposed to lend from you? I don't know, said Annie. How much do you need? OK, what if I ask for £3,000? For a flight to UK, said Annie. Don't be daft. I never said so, he said. I have to make necessary arrangements that demands money, with an uppercase M, before leaving. It doesn't cost that much to UK, I know. What necessary arrangements can possibly cost £3,000? Asked Annie. Like buying some stuff, he said, that we'll use after my vacation, and I should at least have some money left on me. I can't be empty. It not must I have to lend from you. I might have money before then. What stuff? Asked Annie. If you're asking me to lend you money, you should at least be able to tell me exactly what you want to do with it. Otherwise, I'll assume you're just having a laugh. OK, I'll buy a flight ticket. change my old clothes, pay for any damages I cause, and save the rest." "Damages?" asked Annie. "Now what on earth are you talking about? And why would a new pair of jeans, a t-shirt and some trainers cost so much?" "I didn't say I'll spend all the money on that," he said. "I'll save the rest and pay you back immediately got my payment." "What damages?" asked Annie again. "Like any mistake I do during work. Any pine I broke by mistake. You have to be replaced, so I'll pay for it. I signed that agreement also." "Pine?" asked Annie. "What's a pine?" "You don't know a pine?" he asked. "Why on earth do you think I asked?" "What is a pine?" he said. "No," said Annie, "I asked you. You're the one that thinks they're going to break one." "Yes, a pine normally carries fuel to the engine of the ship. A very important part in the ship." "Never heard of it," said Annie. "So you're telling me you're careless and liable to break things? Why would I want you in my house? What else are you likely to break?" "LOL," he said. "Why is that funny?" asked Annie. "I'll buy your air ticket and he'll mail it to you and send you an Amazon voucher for some new clothes." "Because I can't damage anything in your house," he said, in reply to her asking why is that funny. "I'm certainly not going to send you extra money so you can save it and give it back to me. What a ridiculous suggestion." "I didn't mean I'll save the money and send it back to you. I'm trying to say is that I'll save the rest of the money, because I'm only paid at the end of my contract. So at ahead of time, I'll double the amount you give me. It's £3,000. I give you 6k, because my salary is very huge." And anybody that tells you they're going to pay you double is always a scammer. "I'm pleased your salary is very huge," said Annie. "If it happens that we get married," he said, "now we are very stable and I have no problems. Besides, we're very mature and we only need love and care at our age now. Don't you need love? I'm serious. Looking for love. I guess I find someone to express that with." And he added all this last bit while I was making the video. That's when the colour changed in the chat. And underneath it says, "Chris changed the chat theme to love. 3 love word effects were added. Chris, set your nickname to the woman of my dreams." Ah, dream on, Chris. Dream on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it. Please share it. Please comment down below. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you can hear the wind blowing, it's because I'm sitting outside in the garden.